Hey guys, how's it going? Adam here again with the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And it's been a bit of a wild month for us and our family. So I'm just happy to be able to get on here and just share a quick thought. I am going to try to make this quick. I know I think the last podcast was calories, insulin, and carnivore diets. And I thought it was going to be quick. Went an hour. But this one I'm actually going to try a little bit better because I wanted to share a quick thought. We've been in a very busy season here with my business slash ministry and also what my wife does. My wife is the director of a nonprofit here in Utah, and it's a bit of a startup at this point, so it's all hands on deck. So we've been really just going at it, busy. Our family's just been sleeping when we can and taking care of ourselves the best we can and just trying to get the work done, right? So it got me thinking, there are going to be seasons, and I'm going to do this really quickly, but before I get into it, if you are a fan of this podcast, I would love for you to share it with other people, send it to your friends, things like that, because it just helps us. I don't spend much money on marketing because we don't have the budgets for that. So I rely really heavily on word of mouth and people sharing what we're doing. And we do our best to add value to every person or every client that we deal with. And we're hopefully you leave better than you arrived. But so please share, like it. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like and subscribe. We'd really love for you to click that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We really appreciate every bit of the support and leave us comments, help us as well. If you disagree with some of this, that's great too. Would love to hear it. So anyway, there are going to be seasons in your life, especially if you're doing ministry or just have kids or whatever, and it's going to get crazy from time to time. I work with a lot of churches, and every one of them have their own patterns, their own busy times and push seasons of pushing and seasons of dialing it back a little bit, and everyone deals with it. So I want to share a quick thought from First Kings chapter 19 that has been resonating with me lately. And this is right after the prophet Elijah just had this epic moment on Mount Carmel where he challenged the prophets of Baal to see who the real God is, and the God who answers by fire, burning up the sacrifices, the real God. And you've read the Bible enough, you know the story. It comes off this epic high, right? Like he just dominated for the Lord in a way, you know what I mean? Like we don't even know. Honestly, I don't know anywhere in the Bible where God told him to go do that. He just went and did it and God showed up. So he has this epic high. And then right after that in verse 19 or chapter 19, it says, Now Ahab, who was the king at that time, told Jezebel, who was his wife, and Ahab was an actual king and Jezebel was a foreigner, I believe, if I remember properly. But she told her all that Elijah had done. This is verse 1. How he had killed all the prophets of Baal or Baal with the sword, which was her God. Then Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah, saying, May the gods do to me, and even more, if by this time tomorrow I do not make you like the wife of one of them. So basically, she got mad and said, if by this time tomorrow you're not dead like those dudes, may the gods punish me, right? So he's getting his threat, and I'm gonna be honest. She was a queen. She could have done a lot of stuff, but she had a lot of power. But in comparison to what he's just coming off of, she's got no power, like no threat here. You know what I mean? But Elijah was afraid and rose and ran for his life. He came to Beersheba, which belongs to Judah. So this is during the season when Israel was divided into two kingdoms, the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel. Um, he ran to Judah, which was technically a different country or state in a sense, different king. Uh, he left his servant there, but he himself traveled a day's journey, this is verse 4, into the wilderness. And he came and sat underneath a juniper tree and asked God that he might die. He said, It's enough now, O Lord, take my life, for I am no better than my father's. Okay, so just picture this. He's got this incredible ministry happening. He's got this incredible thing happening. God's doing an amazing things, and like he's answering prayers that we don't even know if God asked him to do this, but he just went and did it, showed boldness for the Lord, did stuff that many of us would be terrified to attempt. And then when he's coming down off of that huge high, he gets threatened by a lady, a queen, but a lady nonetheless. And he gets afraid and he runs away and he asks God to kill him because he just can't take anymore. Okay. If you think about this pattern is very common. Like if a pastor or somebody in ministry is going to slip up, run away, quit, have a big issue, it's going to come on the heels of a big event or a big season of push, a big season of having to really dig in with your faith. And when you're tired and weak is when you are most susceptible to the enemy. Like, no, I struggle with my worst types of thoughts, anxiety, depression, anything when I'm tired. And I have the most doubt that I struggle with when I'm tired. Okay. He's coming off this thing, and then now he's just like, I'm ready to quit. Give it up. I'm done. Like, this little lady done scared me. But what happens is very interesting. Okay. As verse 5, he lay down and slept under the juniper tree. And behold, an angel touched him and said to him, get up and eat. Okay. Verse 6, he looked, and by his head there was a bread cake baked on hot coal and a pitcher of water. He ate and drank and lay down again. Okay. You got to imagine this man was pretty tired. All right. It says he lay down and went to sleep. The angel woke him up, gave him some food and water. I have no idea what was in this food. Please don't read this and think, yes, all bread is good for me now. If you're reading the Bible and you're trying to find hacks for your diet, you're reading the Bible for the wrong reason. It is not a diet book. It is a book about the salvation story of God sending his son. Okay, it's not a diet book. I know we got the Maker's Diet. I know we got Jordan Rubin and those guys, but the Bible is not meant to be a diet book. Okay, it can give us principles on what to look out for. All right, so he says, so he was so tired, he ate and went right back to bed. He slept again. Then the angel of the Lord came to him a second time, touched him and said, get up and eat, for the journey is too long for you. This is the Amplified, without adequate sustenance. It says, he got up, ate, and drank, and with the strength of that food, he traveled 40 days and nights to Horeb or Sinai, the mountain of God. And there he came to a cave and spent the night in it. Behold, the word of the Lord came to him, and it said, what are you doing here, Elijah? Okay, this is where we get into the story where God speaks to him, not in the storm, not in the fire, not in the thunder, nor in the earthquake, but in the small whisper. Okay, interesting thing here is Elijah's coming off this huge wind, this big season of just seeing God go crazy in his ministry, doing amazing things. He gets really discouraged because he's exhausted and he really wants to quit. But before God can really talk to him about that, your boy need to take a nap and get something to eat. Okay? He's just tired and worn out. So, and I think this is a big issue with many of us in the ministry is that we think because we're doing stuff for the Lord, that maybe somehow our flesh and our natural state is not something to still be concerned about. But God understood him so well because he made him that he knew that this man just needs to go to bed. Let him go to bed. Let him eat some heavenly food. I don't know what was in that bread, but I would like some. The angel gave him, he ate 2 times bread and water from the angel that angel made for him. And from that, he was able to travel ahead to a place where the Lord could speak to him. So my point is, in the ministry, this journey is going to be too much for you. The distance is going to be too great. The need and the cost of ministry is going to be too great for you to just push through and not take care of yourself, for you to not be sleeping properly, for you to not be eating properly, for you to not be exercising properly. Like, let's just be honest too. My dude was obviously fit. It says he ran 40 miles, or he at least walked it. He got up, ate, and drank, and with the strength of that food, traveled 40 days and 40 nights. Your boy did an ultra. marathon through the wilderness. So he traveled on foot a supernatural distance on the food that the Lord gave him. But if he wasn't in a place to take a nap, eat, and listen, he would have never been able to make that journey. So I think for us in the ministry, we need to really realize like this is about grace, but it's also about wisdom. It's about grace, but it's about listening to your body. It's about listening to, advice. It's also about paying attention to your patterns. If you know that when you get done preaching or you get done ministering in some way, that when you're most susceptible to depression, maybe alcohol, maybe pornography, whatever it is, if you're more susceptible to those things, you got to recognize those patterns, okay? Let me just tell you, in the ministry, I deal with a lot of people in the ministry, okay? They're great people, but we have got this delusion, this misinformation around faith, that somehow faith is enough to sustain you through the intense physicality that comes from ministry. If you've ever preached more than one sermon in a row, you know exactly how tiring it can be. And some people will act like, yeah, well, I can do five and it's fine, no big deal. Every person who of prominence who I know was preaching more than 4 or 5 sermons in a weekend had some type of crash and burn. Something. Might not have been public, but it was definitely private. So there is a big level of faith here, but there's a big level of wisdom too, to realize that this temple is physical and it needs proper maintenance. So you need to be sleeping, you need to be eating properly, because the journey that God has you on is too much for you. Okay? It needs to be supernatural, but also you have to be wise enough to listen to your body, listen to like the voices of wisdom in your life that tell you when to rest, tell you when to see a counselor, tell you that, hey, it's time for you to just chill. Okay? You need to listen to those because that journey is too much. And if Elijah had not listened, he would not have been in a place for God to speak to him and give him clarity on his relationship with him and where he was going to be and where he was going. So that's what happens in this story. But we forget that right off the heels, this whole story is coming right off the heels of him taking care of himself, led him to a place where God could speak to him. Okay, so let me just encourage you with that. That encourages you today to go get that gym membership, go start working out, rework your schedule. Don't tell me you don't have time, okay? Because in the 2 hours that you spend scrolling on your phone every day, which I do the same thing, that's an hour walk and a 45-minute workout every day. Okay. That's like steps, which is what you need, and 45-minute workout, which is plenty. So people say they don't have time, but what they really mean is it's not important enough to prioritize yet. And that's okay. But let me just tell you, the journey's too much for you, but God has plans to speak to you and do great things with you and through you. But you have to take care of that body, take care of your temple so that you can be in a place to hear. Because you can get so tired. You can get so beat up that you can't hear anymore. All you can do is feel the negativity and feel the fear. And your skin gets so thin that people are just hurting your feelings left and right when it had nothing to do with you in the beginning. You're just exhausted. Okay? Take time, listen, be wise, eat, drink, sleep properly, because this journey is too much. Okay? That encourages you. God bless you. We love you. Have a great day. Please like and share on YouTube. If you're listening to it on Spotify or Apple, please give us a 5-star rating if you can, or leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Talk soon.